This is Ready Set Reiki, a podcast about Reiki, the universal energy life force. From the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, and all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination. And on this Ready Set Reiki journey, we refer to ourselves as guides rather than hosts, as we too are traveling, supporting each other, and learning on this Reiki journey as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy Seawright, and I would like to introduce to you today Magical Allie the Healer. She is a certified Reiki healer, certified spiritual life coach, a certified angel reader, and certified meditation coach. Welcome, Magical Allie the Healer.
Thank you.
Welcome to Ready Set Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, so we're going to begin our journey today with the first question. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
So, as you said, the titles that I'm certified in, but as a child, I knew I was different. Every time I came across anyone that was sick, I was literally sending them healing energy through my eyes. And then as an adult, for over 25 years, I was a nursing assistant. So I worked with the sick. And constantly my patients would say, oh, you just have this healing energy. So like my touch and everything. But, at the time I didn't realize what I was doing until I spiritually awoke in 2020.
Wow, beautiful. And I'm sure you never imagined, as you started out, that you'd ever kind of go on the road of being a Reiki healer. Amazing. How beautiful is that? Wow. So would you say that Reiki found you or you found Reiki?
A little bit of both, actually. Yeah. So what happened with me is in 2020 in meditation, literally God creator of all came to me and told me my mission, shine this bright, beautiful, amazing, loving light on me, and literally told me to quit my job. I need to heal. I'm a natural born healer. And I wanted to learn other forms of healing. And that's when I found out about Reiki. And what called to me was Holy Fire.
Very nice. That
Yes.
is a very wonderful energy, is it not?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you start in Reiki, obviously people tend to start, not always, in a Zui, but that's really a game changer, bringing in the Holy Fire with that.
Yeah. Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So as you are out and, I had found Magical Allie the Healer on TikTok. So I was so fascinated as I was scrolling through and stopped and watched. And so, as you're out there expanding your territory, working with many people from, TikTok gives you an audience of all over the world.
Yes.
What do you think is the most common misperception about your work that you're finding?
People think it's of like evil, you get that. It's witchcraft. It's not of Christ,
Right.
So yeah, that's a lot. So I just educate and send them unconditional love and that healing energy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That does seem to be a misperception. I know my own mother, she doesn't think the yoga, the meditation, none of that, she's very Bible based. And,
Yes.
once you have this conversation that, okay, well, let's take a journey and see, what was the basis of Jesus Christ when he walked on this earth, right? And it was that love, right? Touching.
Yes.
It's even cited in the Bible, where, Jesus said that we can do what he could do, right?
Exactly.
And go out. Right.
Yes. And that's what I teach my followers. We all have the ability to heal ourselves. I'm just here to guide. Yes.
Right. And I know I struggled with that in the beginning because, it's that misconception, it's Japanese and it must be this or that. And then once you get learning it, and that's why I resonated with the Holy Fire, because it brought in and helped with that, religious trauma, right?
Yeah.
So you having that spiritual. So it's not religious, but it is spiritual.
Exactly, exactly,
So
exactly. And
that's
that's why
what that's
I tell
what,
yeah, I tell everyone like I say we were stuck in the matrix before we woke up. So
yes.
that we were brainwashed. So like we didn't know. So like now we're here when we spiritually awake and we can help everyone else, to ascend and stay in a high vibration and get that healing energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there is a Reiki out there for everyone. So if you resonate more on a religious side, then perhaps Holy Fire may be that one because you can bring in, God, Jesus,
Yes.
Holy Spirit. And if someone doesn't resonate with that, you can color it, the God of your own understanding or
Yeah.
source or universe. So it's really getting that uh client student at ease. That's what that's about. Like what can we how can we frame this for you in this way? So that's what the beauty of it is, you make it your own.
Yes.
Wonderful. So in this profession, as you are going along and out there on TikTok and working with students and clients, what is something that everyone in this industry should start doing?
Um, Meaning like all the Reiki healers.
Just as you're going on and you're seeing other people, as we're going out there and maybe people around where you live, you're seeing things on social media. What is something that you think that
Oh,
practitioners should maybe start doing?
um, we should definitely teach people not to be in fear for sure, and to know that we're all divine beings and that we are in control of our thoughts and actually our reality. So we need to literally be mindful what we're thinking. If you ever have a negative thought, you need to knock that negative thought out of your mindset, and you need to basically what you want to happen in your life, you need to literally have those thoughts in your mind so it can come into reality. So it's
Wonderful.
just very important, and very important to meditate every day, do breath work every day, do yoga every day, do fasting, and eat very clean from the earth.
Beautiful.
Uh,
Beautiful. So, what do you wish that your younger self knew about this profession?
Definitely like what I just said. I wish I would have known about meditation and about breath work, how important it is. Um, I always walked barefoot outside. I don't know. That was something I always did. I hardly ever wear shoes, and even like if I don't have to wear shoes in public, I don't. So
Right.
that's something
Absolutely.
I always
I know
knew.
that. I know that too well.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I wish I would have known, and to eat healthy and to do fasting. I grew up my mom is Italian, so eating a lot of Italian food and unhealthy stuff, and
For sure.
you know, so yeah, I wish I would have known that for sure.
Right, right. I mean, just imagine that the tools you have in your energetic toolbox, you had that through your childhood,
Right. And
right?
that's the thing that I want to create is a community, especially to direct children. Like in
Mhm.
schools, we should be meditating and doing breath work before we even start off anything.
Sure, sure. And
You know?
even before I got introduced to any of this, my background is in teaching elementary, and I was a preschool teacher, and we could do
Wow.
that too. And I was doing things at the time, where we would shake, shake, shake it out. And that's somatics that I didn't even
Yeah.
think of when I was starting out, and open,
Uh-huh.
shut them, open, shut them. That's getting the synovial fluid moving and the
Yeah.
breathing and things like that. And yeah, that was part of our circle time. And
Yeah.
then it came to when I got trained and I finally got names for things, right?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what are some qualities that you look for in a Reiki practitioner when it's time for you to fill up your Reiki cup and get a little tune up or a session?
Make sure like I tap into your energy, make sure you're full of love, peace, um, no drama, no gossiping. That's a big red flags for me.
Oh, yes,
you know,
yes.
and just finding out, like, making sure you're really have a certificate and certified,
Right, right.
but
And then,
all of that
yeah.
love and peace.
Sure. And there's so many out there now than it was maybe say 20 years ago. And every time, I'm on TikTok and scrolling, someone's merging the ASMR or this with it or that with that. And so it's kind of like, oh my goodness, like, do they have the backgrounds? And I
Yeah,
remember watching someone who said, hey, some of these people on here don't have this. And then it was
correct.
like, oh my goodness, because we're trusting, right? We're
Yes,
believing someone at their face value that they have what they say they have with
right.
that. So yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. And it's just a matter of just, simple questions, like what level are you? What's your lineage? Things like that
Exactly. Because
important to
so
ask
many
people
people, right? So many people do not even realize it's different kind of Reiki.
for sure. For
They
sure.
don't realize that.
Right, right. And I mean, when you start looking, you can definitely go down the rabbit hole. I think a few years ago, I was reading there were 25. And then I went into a training and someone said, no, there's like hundreds. And I was like, oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Yeah,
I mean, and people, as a master practitioner, you can channel and you can create your own if you feel called to that. So that's
mhm,
how we get the Holy Fire, the Lotus Reiki. Now there's the Kid Reiki, violet flame. I can go on and on
yeah,
and on. And if you feel called to do that, so you have a beautiful variety out there to choose from that if okay, I like this energy, but I need a little bit more, you can go on that quest to find that one that's right for you. And whether
correct.
you use it with other energies or all the energies, you are
Yes,
making it uniquely you. So
yes.
wonderful, wonderful.
Mhm.
So, what advice would you give someone who's just entering this profession?
To not take anything personal, and you need to have thick skin because you get
Yeah.
a lot. Uh, unfortunately, on this earth, there are a lot of negative people, and I'm trying to help that and trying to, send that love and that healing energy. And what I realized is that some people, their journey is not to wake up in this lifetime. And that
For
was a
sure.
hard punch for me because I wanted to help everyone, wake up everyone.
Right.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's some of their soul contracts. So that's hard. And some may, like you said, um, I do have some family members that I have to leave behind,
Mhm.
and there's nothing I can do. I'm there if you decide that you need me, you want it, but some it's what they signed up for. And we just have to, I just pray and I send, I know you can't send that energy unless someone consents. So I'm here if you need me, and I put out videos. So if you don't, like, for instance, my sister, she was doing some of my meditation videos, which I had no idea that she was doing that, but she told me she was, and I thought that was amazing. So
Beautiful. Isn't that
yeah.
wonderful? I mean, and we get so excited about it that we want everybody to get on board.
Yeah,
And you'll find that you'll have a stranger more supportive of you than someone in
absolutely.
your own family.
Family.
Someone
Right.
you just met a few months ago and they are there and your biggest cheerleader, and then you can't
Yes.
get somebody in your family to even share a post or tell somebody or take your business card in or recommend you.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that goes, and it is a
Hmm.
journey. It's a learning process with that. And sometimes you have to leave those people behind on the journey, but then
Yeah.
maybe they'll catch up to you and join you on another part of that journey. So yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
And especially like on TikTok where you're having people come on and make comments and
Hmm.
you're trying to answer and you have trolls and haters and all kinds of
Yes.
bots to deal with. And it's hard because you can't physically see them like on Zoom. So if
Right.
it was a Zoom call, but some, like TikTok and Insight Timer, they're only seeing you and then you're
Yeah.
being able to read. And then as you're working and you're trying to concentrate, sometimes seeing that negative comment really hits you. And then you
Yeah.
have to recalibrate and come
Yeah.
back to your purpose. So, yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, people just see, wow, look how easy that is. She's effortless that she does that and she can
Yeah.
attract, hundreds of people, but they're not realizing the work behind the scenes that you had to do to get through TikTok, getting that 1,000 followers and then starting on these lives with only, 5 or 10 people and
Yeah.
get that process of building up what you're doing. And your whole goal the whole time was the intention of you want to just share this with the world. You had
Correct.
a purpose, you had a goal to get this out there and you've done it. So well done with that. So
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah. So it has to be, that bravery and that courage on the journey with that,
Yeah.
especially, when you had someone tell you, you're meant to do this, and how brave you were to quit your job and move
Yes.
forward for this. I mean, there was like no plan B, right? It was, this is it.
Um,
I'm going to be bold and courageous.
yeah.
Wonderful. And so, with that, what books do you recommend?
So I'm really not a book person, unfortunately,
Sure.
but what the book that I did read when I first woke up is The Secret. So I highly
Okay.
recommend The Secret.
All right.
Yes.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Our next question is, what modalities do you offer? You offer other services.
Yes. So guided meditation with breath work, angel reading, an angel like oracle general reading or love reading. I do spiritual cord cutting with the help of Archangel Michael. I do the twin flame match readings. I do yes and no questions. I also help people manifest, like I'm a manifestation coach, spiritual life coach, and then I do candle magic, but only like a protection, healing, prosperity, remove any blockages, communication, good health, reconciliations. So,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
mhm.
Wonderful. And where can our listeners find you if they, you listed all those wonderful things and like, ooh, I want to do that. So how can we find you?
So I have a website. It's magical alley spiritual services.com. And then I go live on TikTok at least maybe 5 times a week. I don't have a schedule, so you just have to put the notifications on for me. And on the weekends, I rent a booth in Dallas, North Carolina, so you can get me in person.
Beautiful. Do you
Mhm.
offer sessions in person as well?
Yes, in person, and I also like if you live near Charlotte, I'm like a traveling healer, so I would come to your home.
Oh, beautiful. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Magical Allie the Healer that travels. Wonderful. And you also definitely do online privates as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. Well, this ends our questions, but normally I would pass it over to my co-guide, Millie Pampina, who is unable to be here today. So I am going to lead the journey with Magical Allie the Healer with 3 social media questions. And these questions are sent in by our listeners, and then I narrow it down to 3. So Magical Allie the Healer, let's go. Here we go. Our first question from our listener. I see you're on TikTok. What do you think about the trend on TikTok regarding Reiki?
I think it's amazing because more people are learning about Reiki and what Reiki is. So I really like that, Reiki is getting a lot of attention like on TikTok, and I post a lot of stuff about what Reiki is and what, because a lot of people don't know. So if you go to my page, you can learn about that. And I post about the chakras, a lot of educational stuff I post. But yeah,
Beautiful.
think-
I mean, this is really a way to mainstream it. Like my
yeah,
kids were like, "Oh my goodness, like you've been doing this. What's on TikTok?"
yes.
So it's amazing with that. So definitely expanding the territory, getting that out there. The world needs it right now more than ever, this healing energy. So, our
Yes.
second question, there are many people that seem not to be qualified for Reiki. However, they're offering their services on TikTok or elsewhere. What should I be looking for in a Reiki practitioner who is offering their services, whether on TikTok, Insight Timer, or maybe perhaps on YouTube?
So what you want to look for is you want to make sure it seems like a safe live or in person. It's safe, it's peaceful, it's love. I can tell you red flags. Like if you go on a TikTok and someone's claiming to do Reiki and you're like, oh, hi, how are you? And right away they're like, you have a curse on you. You know, that's a red flag. And if they're talking about other healers, negative, like any gossip, any negativity, real healers do not do that. We do not gossip about each other. We do not, we support each other.
Right,
And
right.
that's a major, major thing. So watch out for that. And also, like, I always play peaceful, high energy music. Um, just so like you feel so at peace, and it's a very peaceful space. So yes, that's what you want to look out for: peace, love, and just make sure there's no drama, no talking about other people, or that's when that's not a real healer.
Right, right, absolutely. And also, I see that many of them are struggling on their on TikTok, specifically with other people DMing them or messaging them for services. So a lot of them will put up there, "I will never message you. I will
Yes.
not that." So that's also to be very mindful before you start sending people money and
Yeah.
they're asking you to do this or do that. Make sure that
Yes.
it's either verified or go on their page, or before you send that money, reach out to them first with
Yeah,
that.
no real healer will message you first ever. Like to be like, can I offer you a service? We would never do that.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
people come to us. If
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely. Now, you offer a variety of modalities, all that you listed. What are some of the common reasons that people come and see you?
For healing, to learn how to meditate. I get a lot of people that when they're first waking up that need the spiritual life coaching, um, how to manifest, how to keep yourself in a high vibration. And also, I didn't mention that I'm also in a twin flame. So I'm also a twin
Okay.
flame guide. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful. Wonderful. Beautiful. Now, as that is our last question, uh, is there anything else that you might have thought of as we were talking that you would love to share with our listeners?
just to I just feel like it's so important. If you're starting to wake up, you're spiritually waking up, to meditate. Meditate's so important, to do your breath work, to go outside in nature. I can't tell you how much nature. It's so beautiful,
Absolutely.
amazing, and it just does something for us in this vessel, you know. Um, and then just, we're all one, we're all connected, and we're all here to unconditionally love each other. And it's just so important that we all do that.
Thank
So
you. That
you're
was
welcome.
such a beautiful message. Well, that ends our questions for Ready Set Reiki. Thank you so much, Magical Allie the Healer. I really appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to join me today to answer questions for our viewers.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. And make sure to check Magical Allie the Healer out. Check her out on TikTok. Get those notifications. Follow her. It is absolutely a really beautiful session. When I am scrolling and I see her, I just stop and just enjoy the energy that I am receiving. So, what a blessing. So,
Thank you.
I am Tracy Seawright. And this has been Ready Set Reiki. If you are ever interested in having your question featured on our podcast, just reach out to us at www.readysetreiki.com. I will leave you with the tagline that Millie always says: to see beauty in all things is a choice. Choose wisely. And I am again Tracy Seawright, and this has been Ready Set Reiki.